There's no doubt about the environmental impact from badly and wrongly produced crude.
We're better suited to deal with those things by preventing them from happening in the first place.
Our operations are subject to a lot of sabotage.
One thing I know is that we're a responsible company.
We're not notorious for pollution, so to speak.
We have an MOU signed with all the major communities we produce oil in which we've agreed on the things they want done.
There's nothing not to like about this company.
Wale just came in, said, I'm going to negotiate to buy a company. That was ConocoPhillips.
We paid net 1.6 billion.
When Wale and team acquired a ConocoPhillips interest in Nigeria, we bid up to, I think, $800 million. We said no. And I think they got the deal at $1.1 billion, you know. And we thought they were crazy.
When that deal was closed, I think it required governmental approval. Wale didn't get it.
In that time frame, we paid $10 million as a penalty per month for about 6 months. We paid interest. Total additional cost paid on that deal as a result of delayed regulatory approval was $140 million.
We had done nothing wrong.
After they had paid, they lost money, a lot of money.
They were dogged, and somehow they always won at the end of the day.
It's a myth that President Wale Tinubu is the owner of the company in any way, shape, or form, or is the financier of the company.
Nigeria entered a crisis. Ashwaju and some of his colleagues charged with treason left Nigeria. So at the time he left Nigeria was when Ocean and Oil was doing business. Was it in Nigeria?
Before President Tinubu decided to even run for presidency, Oando was in existence.
Whether Wale had a Tinubu name or not, I think he will still be Wale.
ConocoPhillips is the world's largest independent oil exploration and production company, third largest integrated energy company in the United States, and the fifth largest refiner in the world.
Shell was what we were after, and we were asked by Shell to put a financing package together for up to $2 billion, which we did, to acquire 4 or 5 Shell assets. And when it was time to go, they informed the minister that they were going to sell Oando, a group of assets, for approximately $2 billion. And the minister of the day said no, that it would make the company too powerful, that they should divide the deal into 4. Right? So, and what we were looking forward to was operatorship, and that was no longer on the table for the 4 blocks. So what we did was wait for the next opportunity, and the next opportunity came in Conoco.
Its assets in Nigeria include 6 oil fields, 4 of which are currently producing, 12 production stations, the Brass River Terminal with a capacity of 3.6 MMBBLS, 3 gas plant facilities, 1,490-kilometer pipeline network, and the Kwale Okpai Independent Power Plant in Delta State with a capacity of 480 megawatts.
Wale just came in. He said, please come with me to Naples. So what's going on there? He said, I'm going to negotiate to buy a company. So which company are you buying again? That was ConocoPhillips.
The management of the company says as an upstream player, it has the manpower and technical know-how to run the deep water assets acquired from ConocoPhillips.
The first key upstream deal that was done by a local company of substantial value was us. So we went into the market, we raised $1.8 billion US, and we paid net 1.6 billion because there was $200 million owed on Conoco's balance sheet when we closed because the oil price was quite high.
When Wale and team acquired a ConocoPhillips interest in Nigeria, we bid. We got to our group, the Transcorp group, who were in fact first runner. Okay, we bid up to I think $800 million. We said no, and I think they got the deal at $1.1 billion. You know. And we thought they were crazy. But subsequently, as the divestment in the oil and gas sector occurred in Nigeria, when you look at the pricing of the oil, you see that the Oando transaction was not unreasonable.
When that deal was closed, I think it required governmental approval. A routine transaction and transfer of proprietary rights in oil and gas assets which were retained under the then Petroleum Act. Wale didn't get it. What was his offense? He was the nephew of the former governor of Lagos, who was in an opposing political party.
We lost 14 months when we did ConocoPhillips, waiting for the government of the day to approve the transaction. In that time frame, we paid $10 million as a penalty per month for about 6 months. We paid interest. Total additional cost paid on that deal as a result of delayed regulatory approval was $140 million. And we also had a delay into going into market because then the oil price, which we should have enjoyed, was now dipping. And then we had the crash in 2015, 2016. So that was quite tough for us.
And for how long after they had paid? They lost money, a lot of money.
After concluding its forensic audit of Oando, Nigeria Securities and Exchange Commission says the report revealed serious infractions.
This was around the time of the SEC crisis.
They are going to keep doing what they are doing, and at the end of the day, it still boils down to what new regulations are going to come in.
We appeal to the federal government to intervene in our travail.
I was going around trying to explain this is the situation.
First of all, alleged findings. They are not sure whether those findings are accurate or not. They've had 5 months worth of information and investigation to determine that. If they feel that those findings are not true, then they should release their report and let's take it from there.
I remember going to meet with some of our funders in Europe, but just trying to give reassurance, right, that we had done nothing wrong. We're challenging this in court. And they said to me, well, okay, we understand. We've reviewed, we've done our due diligence. All we want to know is that Mr. Mufe and Wale, like they mentioned, are still going to be in charge of the business. They said because it is because of them that we are invested in the business, because we know them and we believe in them.
Oando Nigeria PLC is out of technical suspension, and that's the breaking news. You already seen that on our ticker tape.
NAOC has been here for over 60 years before Oando came. NAOC started fairly well, but towards the closing days, for about 3, 4, 5 years now, production dwindled. The activities of NAOC were gradually going down till Oando came. The turning point, in my own view, is the town hall conducted by Oando, during which the CEO and the chairman of Oando spoke eloquently to the personnel, and a new blood was injected into the workforce, and from then till now, there's been a turnaround.
They've done their bit. They've been here 60 years, and I feel it's time for the onshore to be taken over completely by Nigerian indigenous companies. And we knew that by acquiring 20% in Agip and working with the company, we would have preemption rights when Agip, the operator, decided to sell. And we were convinced that all the onshore operators in Nigeria will divest from the onshore. The day-to-day operations of the onshore, they may keep proprietary rights in the assets, in some of the reserves, or gas rights for the LNG to support the LNG.
Oando PLC successfully completed the acquisition of 100% of the shareholding interest in the Nigerian Agip oil company.
Started our negotiation to acquire Agip. We kept asking them, needling them, forcing them as a company to be more efficient as an operator, showing them how we felt they could improve efficiency.
Oando PLC has successfully completed the acquisition of the Nigerian Agip oil company.
Today's historic event represents a major step forward in Oando's growth trajectory.
Oando PLC has finalized its acquisition of the Nigerian Agip oil company.
It's a myth that President Wale Tinubu is the owner of the company in any way, shape, or form, or is the financier of the company.
There's this thing about things that you don't understand, and the temptation in our misunderstanding of those things sometimes to either stigmatize them or to demonize them or to simply distrust them and to then take a negative view.
I think that this is not an environment where success is really appreciated. There's an unhealthy sense of competition. And I think people are always going to, because they're outliers, successful people who run businesses in this country are outliers. There's always going to be, oh, the only reason why you're successful and I'm not is because of your name, is because you're a northerner, is because you enjoy government patronage in some way, shape or form.
It offends me to levels that are unimaginable. Because this company has been built, okay, right from a time when President Tinubu was not in politics.
President Tinubu now, then Mr. Bola Tinubu in Mobile, decided one day that he was leaving Mobile and was going to run for Senate. Became a senator. And I think in the 1991 or 2, I think, elections then, under the Babangida transition program. The 1993 elections were annulled. Nigeria entered a crisis. Ashwaju and some of his colleagues were part of the people trying to revalidate or validate the mandate. The Abacha administration came in. They were charged with treason. They were going to be killed. That was a word on the grapevine. So he left Nigeria. So at the time he left Nigeria was when Ocean and Oil was doing business. He wasn't in Nigeria.
We built the business, first of all, I started with one partner, Jite Okoloko, and then thereafter, Mufet joined us after about a year, okay, and we were 3. And we're 3 people from different backgrounds, so different parts of the country.
His uncle becoming president, of course, puts him in the forefront of many things and creates a lot of misunderstanding. But he's also driven by substance, because that is all form. What you have to do, you have to do. It's got nothing to do with anyone. If you don't have the ability to do things, then nothing is going to happen.
And I think that's always been the issue. Now, we know that Oando started 30 years ago. It's been a 30-year journey. Before our current president, President Tinubu, decided to even run for presidency, Oando was in existence. And we had done a lot of major things in improving the industry.
So I would say overall, it's a blessing. A good name is a blessing. Of course, when you enter the realm of politics, your name gets into controversy, but that is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Whether Wale had a Tinubu name or not, I think he will still be Wale.
We are going to Port Harcourt. We're going on a tour of our key installations. I think we start with our power plant. We've got 2 times 500 megawatt power plants, so probably account for up to 20% of the nation's electricity today. And we'll do more when we start injecting power from the second plant. So it's a 3-day series of tours on all the key installations.
Nigeria and its oil wealth. Well, that is a complicated story. It is estimated that about 1/10 of the oil pumped ends up stolen, and where it ends up is a dirty business.
Let me start by dealing with ecological degradation. We've always been a brand that ensures that in our own environment, this is prioritized. A lot of the stuff you see doesn't occur because of negligence on the side of the companies. It occurs because people hack the pipelines to siphon oil, and in the process, the oil pollutes the environment. So we believe as a local company, we're better suited to deal with those things by preventing them from happening in the first place. And where they do happen, having a rapid response system towards managing them. And that's what we're doing. When independent, money is a priority. Every drop of oil spilled is money lost to us. So we prioritize dealing with those spills and stopping the leakages where they occur. But I think the general day-to-day operations in the Niger Delta are best handled with indigenous oil companies who can work hand in hand with the communities, provide better solutions in terms of security support, and generally engage in an environment which is local as opposed to global.
There's no doubt about the environmental impact from badly and wrongly produced crude. If your process is wrong, if you are not mindful of your environment, you could be actually a menace to your own society. Crude in itself is material that can be damaging to the environment, so it has to be handled properly.
This is caused by oil spills, and once the crude gets into the water body, every living organism in the water body dies. Meaning our grandchildren, the great-great-grandchildren unborn, are coming to inherit an environment that's incarcerated, that's completely destroyed.
The main problem that we have here is that our process, our structure, and our operations are subject to a lot of sabotage. And when the sabotage occurs and there is a spill, it doesn't matter how it happens, we are mandated to try and ensure that we remediate that in the shortest period of time.
What we are seeing here is a regular thing in the Niger Delta.
But if you look at the community, you can see that the people virtually feed from hand to mouth. They are poor and their livelihoods have been destroyed.
Salt water came in as a result of the oil companies and destroyed all the economic trees that were here. There's no solid soil anywhere. And this has left all the elderly people, all the youths to be jobless.
We're not notorious for pollution, so to speak. We are an oil and gas company and will be branded in that group. But I think there really isn't an Oando spill or an Oando problem that sits out there.
One thing I know is that we're a responsible company. And I know that conversations are already ongoing to set up trust with these communities, trust fund that would help.
To date, we haven't been a big operating player in the E&P side of things. We have been, up till the acquisition of the NARC asset, really a non-operating joint venture partner. We have had a couple of marginal fields in which we have had interests and which have not really had any negative impacts on the communities in which we're working in.
One thing I can guarantee is that as a business that is ethical, a business that runs on integrity, a business that is wholly Nigerian, the intention is not just to take out the resources in these locations and leave them impoverished. There will be, and there is ongoing, and this can be seen through the ESG strategy of Oando, there are active steps that are being taken to ensure that the communities where we benefit from also thrive.
We're doing other intensive programs today now in the Oando joint venture. We have an MOU signed with all the major communities we produce oil in which we've agreed on the things they want done. Some people want hospitals, more medical support. Some people want, more educational support. Some people want more environmental support. We do, and we give free power to majority of our communities.
You can choose to believe, as you would naysayers, for lack of a better word, people that perhaps don't agree with our approach to business or indeed the successes achieved. There's nothing not to like about this company.